Hello, everybody. This is the Insert Title Show, and I'm your host, Wolf Strife. In this episode, I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite games from when I was a kid, Rune. Now, the original game Rune came out on PC back in 2000. Then a year later, they did a port over to the PS2, and that was the one I originally played. The game's about a Viking warrior named Ragnar his entire family and village is destroyed by the evil god Loki. And with Odin's help, he seeks revenge and goes on a quest to save Midgard. So it's a pretty epic and pretty cool game, especially for the time. Very violent too for the time. Like you could pick up severed limbs and severed heads and hit guys with them and throw them at dudes and stuff. Very cool. Pretty cool, diverse group of enemies in this one too. You got other Vikings, you got undead warriors, you got dwarves, you got goblins, you got frost giants and stuff. The PS2 version actually had a couple of more different types of bad guys than the original version did, but unfortunately I didn't buy the PS2 version. I only rented it, and one of the screw ups I did was I didn't have a memory card for my PS2 when I originally played it. So I got about halfway through the game, fell off a mountain, but didn't die. So I basically was stuck there and, glitched or whatever. So I had no choice but to turn my PS2 off, and boom, no saves. So I was completely screwed. So I was like, damn it. So I basically went through half the game for nothing. So I was like, all right, screw that. And I went out and bought my first memory card for my PS2. I would go on to buy 4 of those. That's how many games I did on my PS2. But it's a really cool game. I think it holds up pretty well. It's definitely a pretty fun hack and slash, but there's some pretty cool aspects to it. You go to a lot of different places. You attack like a Viking fort. You go through a bunch of caverns and caves. You go into hell and stuff, Hell's Domain and stuff, and go into a big dwarven factory and stuff. And then you basically become like a super Viking at the end of the game. So it's a very, very cool game. At the time of playing it, I knew nothing about Norse mythology. It was kind of like when I went through Bloodforge, not knowing anything about Celtic mythology. But I think I took a lot more to Norse mythology than I did Celtic mythology because I'm a pretty big fan of Norse mythology now. So that was really cool and definitely grateful to that game for getting me into that. The company that made it, I think they're called Human Head. They would go on to make the much underrated game Prey. I don't think they've really done a whole lot since, but they're definitely a unique game maker. So I mean, if you can get your hands on Rune, I would definitely recommend it. But it's a fun game, really cool, and I think it holds up pretty well considering how old it is. But a couple of years ago, I did buy it on did buy the original PC version, so gone through that a couple of times over the last couple of years, so it's a pretty damn fun game. So yeah, boom, back on, baby.